you know the format. If you have any concerns, you stop. Any questions, anything you don't feel comfortable with. You know the overview of the study. So let's go ahead into the first question. State and spell your first and last name.
Joshua Reed, Joshuareed.
And where are you from?
I'm from Jonesboro, Georgia.
And why do you think you were chosen for this?
I was chosen for this because the person said okay in the room.
Okay. Can you talk about any groups that you're a member of? Family, religious, social groups?
Let's see. Well, I guess previously I was a member of my high school marching band, and so that my I guess two families, one on my mother's side and then one on my stepmom's side.
Okay, and how have these groups had a impact on you? What has had the greatest impact in your life?
I guess my mom's side, because that's most of the side I see the most. It's usually pretty much they're all like, it's multiple like uncles and aunts, and they are all really close together still. So whenever any event happens, they all gather together.
Okay, so you were born into this group. We'll get into some of your personal experiences now. I have, when did you originally become a member and how long? So it would have been all your life, obviously. You are still a member of this group. Can you describe a memory of an experience or event that reflects your relationship to your larger group?
I think a good one would be probably Thanksgiving, because it's kind of how it usually goes. Everyone goes over to my grandma's apartment. Usually have to bring stuff. My mom, she didn't like to cook, so we bring stuff and this is it. And then we usually get there a bit earlier, and then eventually everyone mills in around like 1 or 2. Everyone's half the people watch football, the other half are cooking. Like my cousin Jay, he's cooking with my grandma, and my mom's helping stuff be heated up. We take turns, whoever cooks the turkey for that year, so usually it really depends, and usually it stops being a certain person after they really don't do it well. So pretty much everyone just goes around, gets a ton of food, and then we watch football, stay there for the rest of the day. Some people stay over the night. Sometimes grandma gives out like different gifts to people for some reason, because she just really likes giving people things. Like last time I got like some book that was for it's like an atlas. So I just have that in my room now, and it's just everyone gets stuff, and then there's so much food left over, so usually everyone brings home about 4 plates and eats that for the rest of the week.
Okay. We'll go to behaviors and experiences, and we'll start talking a little bit more about those food experiences. You mentioned Thanksgiving. Is that a primary experience for you? I mean, outside of, or is it connected to religious or social, or both?
I think it's mostly social, because I guess the family is Baptist, but it's usually not like super out there. I think they've just started going back to church again, so it's mainly social. Just that's everyone's going to be there of the family, so show up or we're probably going to be disappointed at you and kind of complain the next event you come to.
Would you say that it's a very positive experience, one that you look forward to?
It's pretty positive. Really like food, so I always look forward to it. I usually don't get to see the other half so much anymore, because I live with my stepmom and dad for the most part now. So, well, when I was still in high school, so everyone was about an hour or so away, so I never really saw them besides those events or whatever time I actually got to visit.
Okay, are there specific norms or expectations when food's there, and there are protocols about who gets what or how things are done?
I think the main protocol is grandma goes first, and when it's time to eat, she gets first pick, and my uncle makes her plate to make sure to get everything she wants. And then after that, I think sometimes the children go first, depending on how grandma feels, or just the adults go first. I feel like once I technically became an adult, the children started going first, but it might just be that one. And also for the, gonna start doing the other side as well. That one, that's usually the adults go first on that one as well, and then that one they're at. Sometimes for food, there's like separations for different tables, and for that one, my stepmom pretty much makes all the food. And she starts like 2 days before and just starts going crazy with all the food.
Awesome, so very lively, not
Yeah.
subdued.
It's very lively. Usually, my grandma puts a record on, or she has her old music blasting.
Very nice. So let's look at opinions and values now. Are these things that the extended family or group anticipates greatly with enthusiasm?
Yes. Essentially, most of them are all, since they're all still good brothers and sisters and friends, so they'll look forward to seeing each other. Usually, they catch up on whatever they haven't gotten to talk about from the last time they met each other. Like, recently, like, my uncle, he got married since the last time I saw him, so it was interesting, and then everyone was excited for him, saw his wife and all that stuff. Anticipate on the other side as well. Usually my stepmom, she invites people outside the family as well for that one. So usually, on my mom's side, it's usually mostly family, and on stepmom's side, it's usually stepmom's family, friends. Sometimes my dad's family comes down from Connecticut, though that's more on more rare occasions.
How are they received when you have outsiders?
They're usually pretty warmly received. Since my stepmom's side, usually it's pretty common that until like when I was growing up, some of them I didn't even know that they weren't actually family because they're always there all the time. They usually hang out, come to different events, like they'd come to when I was marching, they would come watch the football games. We just come to pretty much everything we do. They would, when I went to church as well, they would show up to that church. And my mom's side, they're still pretty warmly received, because on occasion, someone, like my cousin would bring some of his friends sometimes. They would be pretty warmly received. We try to get to know them a bit, and sometimes they'd come back multiple times.
So with this, do you view this as creating and maintaining social cohesion and stability?
Yes, I feel like if we didn't have all these events, I don't think they would be as close together. It's like, I'm trying to see how to describe this. I feel like kind of like renews the thing. Cause like they'll sometimes like see each other outside of it, but they won't see each other as much, so they might not stay as close if they don't have a big event that brings them all together. And they might, if there weren't any events, like only 2 or 3 people might talk to each other in like just smaller clusters of groups.
Okay. Let's go into feelings and emotions. Are these generally positive part of your culture?
Pretty positive. I think the only negative portion is like all the planning and setup for getting all the food and making everything look super nice for everyone to be ready to go there. But usually they're pretty positive because it's mostly just music and food.
You've heard me ask this question before. Is the family growing, or these get-togethers becoming less and less frequent? I mean, is it increasing, declining, and how is that being perceived by the family?
I think it's actually increasing because like they have like multiple get-togethers. Sometimes they're having like some that aren't even like a big holiday. It's just like once there's just a big brunch at this place. Someone, I think one of my cousins found, so we just all went there. Invited more people. And on the stepmom's side, it's still also increasing because they just keep getting bigger and bigger gatherings.
So the family's growing and people are doing this more and more.
Yes.
I think you kind of mentioned grandmother. So is it more patriarchal driven or matriarchal?
I think it's matriarchal on both sides because my grandfather passed away, I think, the same year I was born, so it's the entire time it's supposed to have been my grandma running those things, and the house that everything takes place in is almost always hers, and up until recently it started being my uncle's, just because he has a slightly bigger place than her apartment. So mostly it's just matriarchal, although while she makes food, everyone, well mostly my uncle and cousins help out because they're the ones who know how to cook well. They help out in the kitchen, and then she always goes first. She gets to say what will be on the TV. So sometimes while the Super Bowl is going on, the Jeffersons will be on instead. And on my stepmom's side, I'm trying to think of this one. I believe it's also. That's a good question. I guess that'd be more the traditional sense where I know, of course, like you guys are like in a room talking and like watching whatever, and then my stepmom, she's cooking, and sometimes we help, but usually she's like, just let me whirlwind around, and she handles everything, and then usually adults go first for that eating.
Okay, well, let's get into the knowledge-based questions. I think you covered part of this, but just to get a little bit more detail, events like this open to outside groups and maybe other religions. You ever had anyone in your home or in your family circle that may have not been Baptist or of a different ritual or?
I'm honestly not sure. It doesn't come up too much because it's like while they are Baptist, it's not really the forefront for the most part. Like it's usually like just pretty general. I guess they're like Southern Baptist like rituals, but it's just mostly it just never has really come up. And usually, although I think our neighbors, they're also Baptist, but they're from Trinidad, so, and we always bring them over food and they can come over.
Okay. You haven't really talked much about race. Does that factor into any of these events or family discussions?
Yes, it does. I usually don't think about it because I went to a school pretty much with my black kid, and I didn't really notice it for forever until mostly I moved to my stepmom, and that's when I actually was in public school. Because I went to a private Christian school that was pretty much like 10 people in your class. So I really just like, oh, they're just all kids. But after that, I guess usually the older people there, older black people, they're kind of sticklers about race. Like complain about various things, makes general jokes about white people, but usually I don't associate with that part. So it's mostly, I believe, because my brother, his girlfriend is white, and she's allowed to come up with everything. His grandma complains sometimes, but no one really agrees with her. So it's, for the most part, it's not really a problem or anything's too big of a deal.
Okay, good. And now the final question, what is important to you?
See, one of the important things, like just a lot of it, well, I'll say, I kind of want to say like the right thing actually being done instead of how do you actually say that? So I'm really a big person like the good. I do believe in like world is kind of good. It's because people can be either good, bad, but I want the. I gotta actually find a good way to phrase that. Give me a second. Pretty much, like, I want the right thing to be done, and people to pretty much be able to enjoy themselves the way they want. Don't want people like to be pushed down, and pretty much, if it doesn't negatively impact someone, I'm okay with people doing it.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. I think your personality reflects that, by the way. Wonderful. Okay.